throw that one down the middle of the field, and he got LeRae Kendrick for a touchdown pass. Pass is going to be picked off, and that will be the ball game for the Vikings.
It's the Vikings Coaches Show exclusively on your community voice, WRVS 89.9 ECSU.
Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the Vikings Sports Network right here on your community voice, WRVS-FM 89.9 ECSU. Randy Jones, voice of the Vikings, for this week's edition of the ECSU Coaches Show. And we're joined on the line once again with ECSU head coach Anthony Jones. Vikings suffered a 24-17 loss, a tough one in Roebuck Stadium this weekend as part of the ECSU Community Connect Day. Vikings fall to 1-2 overall, 0-1 in the CIAA. Coach Jones, a tough one for the Vikings on Saturday.
Yeah, it was very difficult. We had some opportunities. We created some opportunities for ourselves. We just couldn't cash them in. And it was a tough day at the office, if you will. But the one thing I was proud of was our guys kept fighting back. And but we just came up a little short.
Yeah, it was a game of punch and counterpunch as the Vikings and the Falcons traded lead back and forth. Actually, the Vikings got off to a terrific start. First play of the game, kickoff to the freshman Zion Riddick out of Hereford County. Took it back 90 yards, Coach, but penalty flag on the way on the other side of the field brought that one back. And, that was a big play, too, kind of symbolic of the way the afternoon went for the Vikings a little bit. But, whenever you take 7 points off the board and, the difference in the game was 7 points, that was a big play, the very first play of the game. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it was. It was a big play. It was an immediate momentum snatcher. We snatched it, and within the same play, when I looked back and saw the flag, I knew the officials weren't coming down to the end zone. So it was against us, and it snatched them right back. And then we came out and dropped a big pass right after that. And that was 2 huge plays. Then a penalty ensues with that. And before you know it, we're punting the ball, and they take it down there and score on us. So we went from being up 7-0 to being down 7-0 in just a matter of moments. And that was like a 14-point swing, if you will. And like you said, the difference in the ball game was 7 points. But to their defense, the officials' defense, we were holding.
Okay. I know you was going to go back and look at the film, so if you, went back and looked at it, justifiable call. We always complain sometimes about the officials, the ones they get wrong, but most of the time those guys, they do get them right, They do. They get them right, and, we get in the heat of the battle, and we tend to make it an emotional battle. I try to stay out of the emotional side of it and let the officials do their job. They ended up with 11 penalties on the day. We ended up with 10. And ours were, for the most part, I feel like they missed some, but this one they got it right. Our guy was falling down, and he held onto the guy's shoulder. I don't think the guy would have made the tackle. He could have let him go, but he held on to his shoulder. And, of course, they have to call that, and they did. And so we made a great play. Unfortunately, it had to be great all the way around, and one mistake was made, and that cost us. Yeah. St. Augustine's did take the lead with 11:56 left to go in the first quarter. Linwood Joyner scored on an 8-yard pass from John Darby. That capped off a 3-play, 73-yard drive for the Falcons. Took only a minute 12 off the clock, but that was aided by a big play by Joyner. Again, they had hit him for a big pass early in the ball game. Seemed like, Coach, a little bit that the middle of the field was a little bit open for the Vikings defensively, and they did a good job attacking that.
Well, what happened was, we were in man covers, and we got outplayed on a couple of those plays. It wasn't so much the middle of the field was open. It was we left that part of it unoccupied, and they took advantage of it, but we shouldn't have. We made a few mistakes on the inside, and they were able to take it. But even with that, they had really 2 big scoring drives where they took time to start of the game, start of the second half. And that was it. That was their offensive success. They got a punt return that was big for them. And, we had opportunity to easily score. Well, I shouldn't say easily because we didn't do it, but we had an opportunity to put in up about 40, 45 points. And we kept shooting ourselves in the foot. and kept taking away those opportunities. So,
Vikings got back on the scoreboard and with 3:47 left to go in the first quarter. Capped off a real good drive, though, Coach. Guys went 16 plays, 73 yards, took 8 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock, and a terrific catch by Dawan Green. Went up and just out-jumped the defender and snatched it in. That tied it up at 7 apiece. And then right after that, though, the Vikings gave up a play toward the end of that first quarter, a 66-yard punt return to Linwood Joyner, and special teams kind of reared his head again a little bit for the Vikings.
Yeah, the same unit. Last week we got a punt block. This week we get a punt return. That's why we spend so much time on that unit, because so many things can go wrong. And it went wrong again. They set the wall up. We talked about the wall in our meetings and things of that sort, and the wall is setting up to our left as we're coming down. And we just completely ignored it, and that's when they started picking us off. Now, some of those guys, some of those blocks, there had been a block or two that was
questionable.
I don't want to call it questionable. There was mistakes on that, but we allowed ourselves to be put in that position. We knew that they were going to return it to their sideline. We knew that's why we was kicking away from it. We knew that they would set the wall, which they did, and you beat the wall by, one, you out-kick them. 2, everybody hustles down there, but you always have a guy containing it. And our contained guy was on the inside. They didn't see the wall, and we paid the dear price for it.
Yeah, both teams got field goals in the second quarter. Went to the break, Coach. It was 17-10 St. Aug. And how did you feel going into the halftime locker room? I mean, everything's still on the table at halftime. Vikings still in the game, guys playing hard. You had to like your chances coming out in the second half. I mean, like you said, we made some mistakes. Wasn't as clean as we probably need to be in the first half. But, that's what teams do. They play the first half to get to the second half.
Right, and we did, and I was a little disappointed in some things, but I was highly encouraged by the fact that we were playing good football. We just wasn't playing great football. We needed to get ourselves to that point. So we went inside, made some adjustments, talked a little bit about it, saw what they were doing offensively, defensively, correct some mistakes on special teams, and then we came back out ready to roll.
Yeah.
And we took our opening drive and scored.
Yep, took the opening drive, went down and scored, and I made 24-17 on the Charles Davis pass from Kendrick Patterson. And Patterson, let's talk a little bit about him a little bit, Coach. Seemed like he was a little bit antsy in the first half. His throws a little bit sailing high, but again, I thought he played a terrific game, just being on his third collegiate game. I thought he managed the field. I mean, he had 1 or 2 reads where kind of overshot a guy, and then had one interception, which was a big one that really probably wasn't his fault. Ball got batted up in there. But could you talk a little bit about Kendrick Patterson's play? It's only the third game of this guy's college career,
And that is a true statement.
It is. Only the third game.
He just played his third game, and he's in a learning process, and he's learning what not only the plays, but what he can and what he cannot do. And that's an important aspect that guys need to understand. He's understanding that the same way he outran guys in high school, he can't outrun them here. He's understanding that his throws have to be more precise than they were in high school, because these guys up at this level, they get to the ball, they react to the ball at a different fever than what they was doing in his high school days. So he's still trying to learn to play the position at this collegiate level. He had no experience and to draw from. And then the other important part that he didn't have someone he could watch do it here. He came in and he had to learn it on his own, starting in August, and had no one that he could draw reps from, had no one he could draw experience from, had no one that they could say, hey, let me show you how it's done. He didn't. He's just coming in here learning on kind of raw, if you will, and everybody's trying to criticize him and critique him and things of that sort. And I tell him, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
When you do great, people give you compliments. When you don't, they give you insults. That's what it is. It's a little more, when you play high school, it's about that community. When you play college football, it's about everyone, and people can be scattered all over the country. And so it's a community involved with it too, but it's more about that name that that carries itself throughout the country, and that's what he has to understand. And he's working hard to get better, And I can't ask for more from the kid, but he's working hard to get better. And he didn't have it. You know, he made about 4 bad throws. 2 of them were intercepted. One of them, the kid did a great job, tipped the ball, and the other one kind of fell in his lap. But, you know, he was there to meet that opportunity and made a play, and that's what football and that's what life is about. Are you prepared to make to take advantage of those opportunities when they're presented?
Yeah, you know, I felt that way during the broadcast. You know, you could see him at times where you felt like he might have had a chance to run, you know, maybe pick up a couple yards, and he stood in the pocket. Then you saw where maybe he had a chance to stand in the pocket and deliver one, and he got a little bit antsy. But, you know, as I commented during the broadcast, that, you know, what the experience that this kid is getting is just invaluable. You know, if Kendrick Patterson can stay a Viking for the next 3 years, we're going to reap some huge benefits from this kid going forward. And I really think he's a special player, and, you know, I like his fire, I like his desire, you know, but like I said, only the 3rd game, and in a new offense that he's never seen before. You know, I tip my hat to the kid, and you know, also I know you brought in Ezekiel Best. He got in a rep or 2. I know that was a plan designed for you to get in the other quarterback, because at some point in time, you know, we only have one, you know, and so if something happens to him, somebody else gonna have to be able to step up. So could you talk a little bit of just about that, or was that really the focus of getting Best into the play, in, you know, this week?
Well, truth be told, we had to play our first 2 ball games with 1 quarterback, and people don't understand that. Kendrick did a great job. He had to stay healthy. He had to keep his helmet on because we didn't have a second quarterback. Okay, Ezekiel gets cleared, and everything is worked out for him, and we started putting him in, giving him some reps, and now he's able to go, but he's still limited as to what he can do, you know. A lot of people don't understand the level of intelligence that it takes to play quarterback, and Kendrick has been out there. He's learning the offense. I tell him things. He remembers them. He's able to apply them on the field, but he's still a young guy. He's still a freshman. He's still feeling his way through. As I said before, and it's such an important part of what they do, he's trying to figure out what he can do at this level. He has no idea yet, but he's figuring it out. And as he gets older and mature, he'll get better. But it takes time, and he's going to have to grow his way into it. So we were very fortunate to play the first 2 ball games with just 1 quarterback. We're out there trying to disguise the fact that we only have 1 quarterback by running warm-up drills with other receivers and running backs throwing the ball and things of that sort. But we had 1 quarterback. All the other quarterbacks were hurt or not ready to go. And so we had to play the first 2 games as such. So this game, we got the services of Ezekiel. We got him out there, gave him a few reps, had a limited package for him, and they all came out, and we was able to get through the first 3 ball games without any serious injuries, thank God, and hopefully we'll be able to do the same. But, you know, we're in a tough situation right now.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, let's also, you know, we talked about the 2 freshman quarterback, but, you know, you looked at this game, you know, Vikings right there with a chance to win a defense, pinned them inside the 2. Marshall's got a good punt, probably his best one of the day, pinned them deep, forced them to punt the ball back to us. Dawan Green made a headsy play, and, you know, he was a welcome addition back to the wide receiver corps as well. He made a great play, picked the ball up, took it to the 11-yard line, and, you know, Vikings in business. One play later, you have Kendrick Patterson. He set it up at the 1 on a 10-yard run, but then he had a legal procedure penalty after that, pushed the Vikings back, and then, you know, ball game was decided. The kid from Hickory Trexel got his hand up, deflected the ball at the line, and it was intercepted, and that was pretty much the ball game. Vikings were able to get it back, but just not able to do anything, you know, with it, you know, the last 3 plays, especially with the down and distance. But young football team knocking on the door had a chance to win it, you know.
And we got to take advantage of those opportunities. We created them, and we got to take advantage of it. And we weren't able to do so. We had a few mistakes in there. We had an offside on that play. We had a holding on the other time we got the ball on the 1-yard line. We got a personal foul. We got inside the 18. I mean, they go on and on and on. We misread a read. We dropped 2 touchdown passes. So, young team. We're trying to grow, but young teams make a lot of mistakes, and there's no exception here. So, we're taking some licks now, trying to improve, and hopefully try to bring it all together. But we haven't been able to do so as of yet. So.
Yeah. Coach, you look at the stats too, final stats for the ball game. I mean, Vikings are very balanced, 194 through the air, 141 on the ground. Actually outgained St. Aug by almost about 100 yards. Like I said, had the ball 5 minutes more, converted 3 first downs, 19 first downs. Not the team did much on third down, but you just look at that. Stats would say the Vikings won.
Yeah, but we blew it on 3 or 4 categories. One, of course, was the score. 2, turnovers. Okay. 3, passing efficiency. They had a higher completion percentage than we did. And I said turnovers, but we had opportunities in the red zone. We had opportunities in the red zone a couple of times. One of them didn't count because we got a personal foul, so that counted us out. But really, we had 2 shots in there, and we came away short with no points. And that was huge. You get first and goal from the 1-yard line, and you don't score, and then you do it again, first and goal from the 1-yard line, but it don't count because it gets called back because we did a holding. So we got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, and that's the difference between winning and losing. And I often said it's a thin line, so thin most people can't see it. And once we stop hurting ourselves, this football team will continue to grow in a very positive way, and we should see those positive results on the football field as well.
Well, Coach, we'll take a break here, but we'll look forward to coming up, talk a little bit after the break about this week's game coming up at Virginia State as the Vikings get set to take on the Trojans of Virginia State. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff in Ettrick, Virginia, and you can catch all the live action right here in your community voice, WRVS-FM 89.9 ECSU. As the Vikings Sports Network will bring you all the live action. That's a 1:45 pregame show and a 2 p.m. kickoff at Ettrick, Virginia, as the Vikings take on Virginia State. Hey, don't touch those dials. You listen to the ECSU Coaches Show. We'll be back with more ECSU football right after this.
Have a question or comment for the coach? Send your email to vikingscoachesshow@gmail.com.
You want information about your business or organization heard by thousands of people?
Yes, sir.
You do not want to spend a lot of money to make it happen? We have just what you're looking for. Become an underwriter on WRVS-FM 89.9. Our listeners will hear your message during their favorite shows. Whether you enjoy the news of Morning Edition from NPR, the conversations of Cafe Mocha Radio, or any of our programming, you make the choice. Call 252-335-3985 or find us at ecsu.edu/WRVS to get started today.
It's the Vikings Coaches Show on your community voice, WRVS 89.9 ECSU.
Welcome back to the ECSU Coaches Show. Randy Jones, voice of the Vikings, along with ECSU head coach Anthony Jones. And, Coach, the young football team has to take their lumps. And, like I said, the schedule doesn't get any easier for the Vikings. They make their foray into the Northern Division play coming up on this weekend with the defending CIAA champs. And, I want to say, a lot of people talk about MEAC football, aggressive, SWAC football, aggressive. But CIAA Northern football has its own little style. And I like to think that on the northern side, we play a little bit better brand, but also we got some heavyweights on this side this year as well.
We do, and we're getting ready to start into it. I mean, you look at the last few years, it's been Virginia State, Virginia Union, Bowie, not in that particular order,
yes,
but those
3 teams.
Heavy hitters.
Yes.
And and that's where we are. And we can't sit around and complain about it. We got to go at it. And just like now, we can't sit around and lick our wounds. We got to get ready for a very, very good football team. They lost to Virginia State. They lost to Robert Morris, and they shouldn't have beaten Robert Morris 19-7, I believe it was.
Yes.
In the fourth quarter, about midway through the fourth quarter. And they got away and made a few big plays and stole that game from them. So they're a very good football team. And we got to play them at their place on the road. And, it was interesting to me. I asked a simple question in practice Sunday after the game. I asked, how many of y'all have beaten Virginia State. No one raised their hand since they've been here.
No one.
No one raised their hand. And, that was very telling to me. And I think the guys realized that as well. So, with that being said, we're going to put forth our best effort to prepare the team. We'll put forth our best effort to get out there and practice as hard as we can and but as smart as we can. And then we'll put forth our best effort to go out there on Saturday and do our best to give ourselves a chance to be successful. And the rest, we'll have to wait and see how it comes out. But the one thing that I was encouraged about this football team, the Vikings, the Mighty Vikings, I should say, we haven't given up. And we know we're about to face probably one of our toughest opponents of the year.
True.
And our guys came to work, and they're ready to go. And they're getting themselves ready to go, and they're not backing down. We're going to go down there or up there and put forth a tremendous effort, and we'll see if it's good enough. But the spirit is there, and that's very encouraging.
Yeah, Coach, whenever you take a young ball club into a hostile environment, which it will be on Saturday, a beautiful afternoon forecasted in Petersburg, and a great environment for football as well. And like I said, they've been standard bearer in the North the last couple of years. Either been them or, like you said, Virginia, Bowie State, or Virginia Union. So those three teams have kind of carried the mantle. But what will be the key for the Vikings to pulling off an upset? I know execution will be, but just maybe getting off to a good start and maybe limiting them and their big plays, because they're definitely going to try to come out and try to test us early.
And that's going to be a big part of it. One of the things that a young team will do, if they tend to have success early on, they'll build confidence in themselves.
Yes.
But if you come out and you give up big plays and you make crazy mistakes, and before you know it, the game will get out of hand and we'll have that old attitude. Well, here we go again. And that's what we got to really, really guard against. Just because a team makes a play on you don't mean we should throw in the towel or develop the here we go again attitude. We got to be ready to start this game from the very beginning. And we got to play 60 minutes of football. And along the way, we got to make some plays. But we got to believe in each other and believe in what we're doing. If we can do those things and play good, solid football, that'll give us a chance to be successful on Saturday. And in life, isn't this all you want? A chance.
Yeah, Coach, this Saturday after the Vikings take on Virginia State, then next week it'll be back-to-back road games. The following the week, the Vikings head up to face the Lincoln Lions, and that'll be another tough game for the Vikings as well. Probably Lincoln is searching for their first win of the season, and they're going to be hungry, and we're just into the metal of things right now, and just for this young ball club, like I said, I think experience and the experiences they're about to face here in the next couple of weeks are only going to help us going forward.
Yeah. Here's the interesting thing, and I know people are thinking, they may think I'm crazy for saying such a thing. We lost the ball game last week against St. Aug, okay? Mm-hmm. That's fine and dandy. But we are still in control of our own destiny. How much we want to be in control remains to be seen. We win the rest of these ball games. You got me looking ahead, which is something I don't like to do. But we win the rest of these ball games. November the 10th, we're in Salem. Okay? Now, of course, that's no easy road to carry. Okay? But that's why we got to be worried about one day at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time. And we got to get ourselves ready, put ourselves in that mindset that, one, we got to be ready for 60 minutes, but two, we got to be ready at the start of those 60 minutes. And if we're able to do that and go down there and shock some people, it would be a huge, huge victory if we would go up there and somehow find a way to win that football game.
Yeah.
And that's got to be our goal. And that's got to be our mindset. And don't worry about what's down the road or what happened in the past. We can't control that. The only thing we can control is what's directly in front of us. And that happens to be Virginia State. So we got to get ourselves ready for that challenge. And it's going to be a major, major challenge. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Coach, also, Vikings, like I said, taking care of that game on this weekend coming up. But I wanted to ask you a little bit, too. I talked to A.D. George Bright a little bit about some possible renovations and things, and he talked to me a little bit about some possible renovations to the weight room and some things you guys are doing over in the field house. Could you shed a little light on that for the general public as well? And maybe we have someone listening today that, hey, Vikings need this, I might can help out. So, what are some of the needs and what was progress that's going on over at the field house concerning the weight room?
Well, we're trying to get first of all, we want a weight room that we can be proud of, but not only can we be proud of, but a place that is functional to help with our students in preparation for not only the football games, but the season in itself. Okay? When you bring kids here on recruiting visits, they want to know where they're going to work out to help improve them as a student athlete. And a renovated weight room would surely help in that task, okay? So that'd be the first thing. Second thing, everybody knows that, we're challenged financially. Mm-hmm. And whatever opportunities that people can take to help us with that regard would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Whatever you can give, we'll use it properly. And hopefully with that, our student athletes, our community helping us, and we'll help the community as well. But we get some help there, and we can build this program to something that we all can be proud of, not just for 1 year, but consistently. We want people to talk about us as a football team, a program that you have to be ready to play. You just can't show up and get the victory. You got to be ready to play. And in other words, it's tough to go through Viking village, our Viking land, whatever you want to call it. So people come through here and they know they're going to get a battle. Mm-hmm. And we want people to respect our program, respect our name. And we need some help in that regard. So if anybody's out there that's willing to do so, we'll be good stewardess, and we'll take care of it and help us to improve our program and everything that we're trying to do to improve the Viking name.
Well, Coach, I tell you what, that's going to about do it here for us on the Vikings Coaches Show again this week. Thanks so much for joining us again. And we'd like to thank each and every one for listening. Don't forget now the Vikings take on the Trojans of Virginia State, 2 p.m. in Ettrick, Virginia. Catch all the live action exclusively on the Vikings Sports Network right here on your community voice, WRVS-FM 89.9 ECSU. Coach Jones, thanks so much, and good luck to the Vikings on this weekend.
Thank you.
All right. You've been listening to the ECSU Coaches Show exclusively here on your community voice, WRVS-FM 89.9 ECSU. Thanks so much for ECSU head coach Anthony Jones for joining us again. And thanks so much for you, the listener, for joining us here on the show. Big ups to my special on-site engineer, Mr. Clay Mercer, and the whole WRVS-FM 89.9 ECSU staff. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks so much for listening to the ECSU Coaches Show.
Vikings Coaches Show is produced at the WRVS-FM studios on the campus of Elizabeth City State University.